speaking about how the media tries to protect these people, I remember at some point last year when you couldn't talk about Hunter Biden's scandals, that was getting censored. That was getting taken off of places like Facebook, places like Twitter. And it's like, oh, you're presenting misinformation. What are you talking about? Like it's documented. Like look at it, it's sourced directly there. It's a video of him. He's saying it himself. Um, so I just wanted to bring this up because this is new, and since we were talking about some of the hypocrisy here, uh, with Joe Biden and this creepy stuff that he does, here's the creepy stuff that his son is like more information is coming out. It says Pillow Talk video shows Hunter Biden saying he lost laptop in Vegas and feared blackmail. I'm not going to play the video here since we probably have like some children watching, or I could get striked on YouTube for showing it. There was some nudity there. But it says, engaging in pillow talk, Hunter Biden shared a story about once losing a laptop during a summer romp in Las Vegas. The president's adult son, nude in bed with a naked woman, told his partner he feared the device was stolen and its videos of sexual escapades could be used as blackmail. The Daily Mail reported on Wednesday the video was taken from a laptop believed to have belonged to Biden, who has never definitively denied being its owner. The Washington Examiner reached out to Biden's lawyer for comment on the new footage, but did not receive a reply. In the video taken in January 2019, Biden said he spent effing crazy amounts of money during the 2018 Las Vegas excursion and spent 18 days going round from penthouse suite to penthouse suite, 4 different hotels, and thousands of dollars. He spoke about one person he was with, who each night he'd be like, "There's going to be so many people here, crazy effing party," and each night it's nobody. One night, Biden said he passed out in a hot tub face down. When he came up for air, Biden said there was a man, Miguel, who was frantically running around gathering things up. Okay, and Miguel and Pierce, this guy, his friend, and a woman he described as a Russian 35-year-old, really nice, pure brunette. He said they checked to see if he was breathing and were preparing to leave. Man, these are crazy stories that this guy was experiencing. He's living the life, right? They wouldn't call an ambulance, and they didn't know whether I was dead or not at first, said Biden, who noted he did not know how long he was passed out. I mean, you guys can read the article here. It goes, there's so much more here, but if this was Trump, in my opinion,
I remember
I think
a PP tape scandal about some fucking Russians that fucking had some dirt on Trump.
Yeah.
And then you got some Russian hooker in a fucking hotel over here fucking partying down with Hunter Biden. Guess what the fuck?
But yeah, go ahead, guys. Your thoughts on this? Why is this not being talked about enough in the media?
Well, I think that's pretty obvious. Again, just like Cuomo was at one point, Joe Biden is a media darling. I don't know really why. I mean, look, both parties are corrupt. Both parties suck. I don't know why the mainstream media seems to have this fetish, though, for the Democrat Party, but they do, especially if you're a good shit-lib corporate Democrat. Okay, that's right up their fucking alley. And Joe Biden fits the mold. So, of course, this being a relative of Joe Biden, you can't talk about it because it's hurting Joe Biden. But, again, when too much stuff starts to come out, they can't run but just so much interference. And evidence, as you pointed out, these sorts of posts were getting, banned and flagged on Facebook. The mainstream media would say it's spreading misinformation when we were going into the 2020 election. And then, of course, it's almost like as soon as we get across defeat Trump's speed bump, okay, they get across that hump in the fucking road. Now, all of a sudden, they have to well, there might be a little bit of truth to this. You wonder why polls come out and show that of the major nations in the world, the trust in the media, U.S. ranks very low, if not near last on that list. I don't remember just how low we were, but the people's trust in the media was very low. I'm talking congressional approval ratings low. Okay, it's absolutely terrible. And so the problem is, in an ideal system, when your news reporting sucks, just like if you owned a business and your product sucked, you would then try to make your product better. But instead, they then turn to the people who are trying to be the alternative, report on these stories, people like us, and instead it's censor us and shut us up and deplatform us because you're spreading misinformation. Well, as it turns out, are we really spreading misinformation? So we have to say this again. We brought up these Hunter Biden scandals months ago going into the election when they said it was misinformation. Something else that, again, for all the people who think Donald Trump is nuts and you want to make people believe he's nuts, the mainstream media does a better job of making him look sane. And I'm gonna explain why, okay? He said that Burisma Holdings and the Ukrainian gas company was buying their way into Joe Biden's favor through Hunter Biden, right? And everybody said, oh, there's no evidence to back this up, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, the mainstream media defended Biden on that front. Now, we just heard about Hunter Biden going on 18-day benders, sleeping with Russian hookers, and his laptop could be owned by Russian drug dealers now. We know about him smoking crack and everything in the past. Okay, does this sound like a guy who is a gas expert to you? Like, why would anyone go out of their way to bring this guy onto their board of directors and say, you know what? Our business is just missing something. And I feel like this guy that's out here screwing Russian hookers and smoking crack, he's got what we need to go to the next level. Bullshit. You were using that to get to Biden. That's obvious. That's obvious. And so, again, when the mainstream media wants to just gaslight people so obviously, you wonder why they're not trusted. And rather than just be honest, they've got to shut up dissenting voices like ourselves because, you know, they want to make sure they win, so it has to be a rigged game.
Yeah. I think what is should be talked about more, what is more alarming is the censorship more so than like Hunter Biden's crazy life, as well as Biden's ties to this and how there's this clear nepotism, right, and corruption. I mean, giving his son that job in Burisma, when he has no experience, like that is important for people to know. I mean, the sex scandals and all that, his drug abuses and all that, that can be like in like the entertainment section of like the news, like TMZ stuff. But the fact that it gets censored, well, that's a problem. Like, why are you keeping this out? And then that gets attention if it's being censored. Independent channels like this are going to talk about it. Shadowban and Marcus, what do you guys think?
Shadowban can go ahead first.
Okay. Well, as someone who worked in the oil and gas industry and happened to smoke some rock and some glass and put some powder in my nose and other things that I did along the way, I can assure you I know more about fucking natural gas than fucking Hunter Biden does. So I try not to attack dude on fucking being a crackhead too much. I mean, I'm a recovering addict myself, but yo, dude, you're a fucking party animal. You're obviously deep in that shit. So it's strange to me that this isn't like damning, right? Like in a normal world, you would take these scandals and be like, let's dig into this. Like, journalists would fucking have a feeding frenzy on this shit because this is fucking powerful people doing powerful people shit and not getting in trouble for it. But since we live in fucking clown world, fucking cartoon world, whatever the fuck you want to call it, dude just gets fucking, dude gets a total fucking pass. It's censored, like outright censored, and totally glossed over like it doesn't fucking exist. What's strange to me is that since there's so much incriminating evidence on that fucking laptop, why the fuck doesn't the FBI have it? And if they do, which I've heard that they do, I don't know the validity of this, Why is there no action being taken? This is a matter of national security, is it not? Fucking like it's fucking bonkers. And the more that gets revealed on it, the more clownish it becomes. I'm kind of at a loss for words over it, because I mean, the dude has problems, and I don't want to attack those problems too much. But at the same time, I'm like, you did some fucked up shit, bro. You gotta fucking pay your you gotta pay the piper sometime. Mm-hmm. So.
Marcus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll throw one thing on that real quick, just real fast. I should have said this the first time. It's getting bad when these Kyle Dunnigan Fresh Prez of DC videos are starting to look more and more like reality TV. Yeah. For those who know what it is. I mean, because literally the more we're hearing about Hunter Biden, this is literally looking like a reality TV show, and it was supposed to be satire completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as what I think of Hunter Biden, I'll leave Hunter Biden as, I don't think he's any different than what a lot of these political elites and just celebrity elites in general, what a good percentage of their children are actually doing. If you're already starting off you're already starting off on fourth base, with, what Frank Thomas coming up the bat, as far as your whole worldview and life and everything, you have everything made. You just do whatever. And some people are going to just push those limits to see how far they can go. But the reason why the media, back to the original question, the reason why the media is not covering these things is because it's damaging to Biden. And because Biden, now, what we have to always keep in mind, and for those who are not, I guess I'll say, initiated in really understanding what the hell is actually going on, when you really get into what's going on, and you look back to one of my comedy legends and favorite, George Carlin, he lays it out for you pretty simply. Forget about the Republican, Democrats, whatever. Forget that. You have owners. And when you understand who the owners like and who they don't like, you'll start understanding more of how this media coverage is actually going on. It's a reason why somebody like me, and I'll say all of us on this panel definitely, and many of our colleagues which we interact with often, because we're willing to talk about things and ask questions and say, you know what, maybe on this I don't know the answers, but we're willing to ask questions, uncomfortable questions, and we're willing to talk about stories which they don't want to talk about. And the reason why is because there's a lot of money controlling what is put on there. Think about it. It's only a handful of people who literally decide which stories go on the news, throughout the whole entire day. I mean, I'll just throw out a rough number. Say it's maybe 500 people across this country who's deciding the news for a country of close to 350 million. Mm-hmm. It's very easy, if you have a lot of money in your pocket, to control those people also, by money, of course. But when you start realizing how this system is all rigged up, there's a club. It's a group of different nations. I'll leave it at that. But when you start understanding that, and understanding that this media is only owned by 4 different conglomerates, you start understanding that certain companies, there's only 3 companies that pretty much own damn near everything on earth. I'll let you all do the research and look it up, but that's my take on why the media is not covering it, because they're got their golden boy who puts through all their legislation, funds their wars, hides their corruption, funds all their pharma deals, and at the same time, while the American public, literally is having our tax dollars fund these vaccinations and all of this medical research and all that. They turn around and charge us most of the time, overpriced for all of this shit. So just keep all that in mind, the people we're dealing with. Oh, yeah, and last thing, the same companies that we're being told to trust, who were being pushed from these same media outlets, were the same ones roughly 2 years ago paying out some of the largest settlements for, I'll just say, look into the cases of the different big pharmas and leave it at that. I don't want to get you in trouble, Franco.
It's okay. I think that at the end we can talk about that, because I think we could do like a short little, Rockfin exclusive segment.
I'll say, yeah, sorry to get a
urging for
little,
it. No,
get on
no.
my
I mean, it's important.
Sorry to get on my soapbox there.
Nah, you're good, man. Like, this is what they're trying to do. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Don't look over here. Everything is fine. We have your best interest in mind. That's what it is. Like, they don't want to make you think like anyone's being held to a higher standard. They don't want to show, the nastiness within the elite class, and what they do.
Well,
it's always going to be like that, until we rise up and opt out of the system, stop giving these corporations power. Yeah, go ahead, Shadowman.
To tie that little segment to the previous one with Senor Hassan and his double standard for the Democrats. What about double standard for the fucking poor, Holmes?
Exactly.
Like, we go on these benders and we fucking wreck everything in our sight, and we're over there fucking smoking rock and fucking tearing shit up. What happens to us? What
Prison
happens
for
to
years.
the fucking, yeah. What happens to the entire fucking population of fucking Watts? What happens to those fucking poor people? What happens to the fucking people in fucking Brooklyn? What happens to those people when they go out and they fucking go on these crack benders? Yeah? Like, there's the double standard that we should all be fucking pissed about.
Yeah.
My people are out there fucking dying in the streets on fucking dope. My people are out there getting fucking locked up for fucking shit they do when they get fucking, when they're on the benders. And Biden's son gets to just fucking, oh, now I do fucking straw paintings with my former fucking snorting straws. Get the fuck out of here. These fucking people are fucking disgusting, man.
And they're like, they give the excuse like,
I want to throw
bad
just a tad of nuance onto what Shadowban was saying there too, because I think he brings up a really good point, and I want to add on to that, okay? When we talk about the average man and woman across the country, the blue-collar type of guy, of which I consider myself a member of, I've talked about in the past why a Medicare for all system is something we really, really need because of how the middle-class American has to live on a day-to-day basis, okay? I've given my story in the past about how whenever I've had injuries, I got to try to treat them at home because I'm afraid if I can afford a doctor bill or not, right? And I don't want to take the chance. You do realize there's a lot of people out there. There are some people who just end up experimenting with drugs. I can't really say shit into that category because I did that myself and had to get over a pill problem at one point. But there are other people who are just trying to get through the world and deal with the stress that the everyday hardworking American has to deal with. And because of the load that's dumped on them between shitty working conditions to low wages to not being able to afford health care and good food, and they're having to eat all this processed potted meat and shit every night because it's what they can afford to do. And it's taken a toll on their health physically, mentally. All sorts of health problems come from that. They could end up alcoholics because it's what they turn to relieve stress. They could end up addicted to nicotine because it's what they turn to relieve their stress. Furthermore than that, what if all those years of hard working, whether it be through lumber mills or, plant factory jobs, whatever, that starts taking tolls on their body, they can't afford to go to a doctor, get prescription medication. Some guy tells them, hey, I got something that'll help you out. They end up on drugs to try to help the pain, and then it spirals out of control. That's why a lot of middle-class Americans end up in that situation, because they live a different lifestyle, whereas rich fucking party animals like Hunter Biden do it just from the sheer fucking choice of, I want to go out and have a good fucking time. And yet they're the one that gets the slap on the wrist while the middle class American gets thrown in fucking jail just because he wound up on a road that got out of control because he was literally living in fucking pain and that tried to help him. I mean, that's fucked up when you look at it that way, but that's the way it is.